Hello everyone, welcome to SV Union High School and Junior College. And my dear students, you are welcome to my YouTube channel. Students of Standard 5th, we are going to start with the lesson Environment and Us Part 4. So students, let's start from page number 92, the efforts to maintain biodiversity. So first we will understand what is the meaning of biodiversity. Biodiversity means the rich variety of life in every ecosystem on the earth. Bio means life and diversity means variety. This variety of life on the earth and its interdependency is called as biodiversity. So if you know it in a simple words, it is called, there are two words which have been shortened and told, biological and diversity. It refers to the variety of life that can be found on earth like plants, animals, fungi and microorganisms, as well as the communities that they form and the habitats in which they live are called as biodiversity. So today we will be studying about biodiversity parks, an area which is reserved for the purpose of protecting and conserving the biodiversity of a region is called a biodiversity park. In these parks, biodiversity is both preserved and studied. People visiting such a park enjoy being close to nature. This leads to more concern for nature. How can we conserve biodiversity? For example, preventing the cutting of trees, putting a ban on hunting of animals, efficient utilization of natural resources. Protected areas should be developed for animals where no human activities are allowed. In this way, we can help to preserve, to protect and to conserve the biodiversity of a particular region, where people can go and study each and every elements of nature. Do you know, my dear students, that biodiversity parks are fully functional and serve as nature reserves with more than 3,000 species of plants and animals. Why there is a need to study biodiversity? Biodiversity is important to humans for many reasons. Ecological life support. Biodiversity provides functioning ecosystems that supply oxygen, clean air and water, pollination of plants, pest control, wastewater treatment and many ecosystem services. Now students, let's start about the national parks. Some areas which are very important for the protection and conservation of wildlife are reserved for them. Reserved means that place is only for them. For example, the Kaziranga National Park and the Tadoba National Park. So first we will understand what is the meaning of protection and conservation of wildlife. So wildlife conservation refers to the practice of protecting wild species and their habitats in order to maintain healthy wildlife species and to restore, protect or enhance natural ecosystem. So what is the importance of this conserving wildlife? We are ensuring that in the future generation that we all can enjoy our natural world and the incredible species that live within it. It also helps to protect wildlife. It is important to understand how species interact within their ecosystem and how they are affected by environmental and human influence. So let's understand about the World Heritage Site, that is the Kaziranga National Park. Kaziranga National Park is a protected area in the northeast Indian state of Assam. Spreads across the flood plains of the Brahmaputra River. Its forest, wetlands and grasslands are home to tigers, elephants and the world's largest populations of the Indian one-horned rhinoceros. Ganga's river dolphins swim in the park's water. It is visited by many rare migratory birds and grey pelicans roost near Kaziranga village. Now let's try and understand about the Tadoba National Park. Tadoba National Park considered as one of the finest and largest national parks of India. Tadoba National Park showcases an excellent variety of wildlife. Tadoba National Park is located in Chandrapur district of Maharashtra and is spread in an area of 1727 kilometers. This large park is a treasure quest of wildlife and flora, a place where one can experience the best of nature and its gorgeous creations. Wildlife like tigers, panthers, wild boars, and much more have found a home in this national park. Having a small area and a large population of the tigers increases the possibility of tiger spotting for the tourist. Tadoba National Park is one of the major tourist attractions of India and a treasure for the wildlife lovers. Now students, let's start with the third part, that is called as sanctuaries. Certain forest areas are reserved for the protection and conservation of a particular animal or plant. Such a reserved area is called a sanctuary. For example, the Radhanagari sanctuary for bisons. If the plants on the earth are destroyed, the number of animals will also fall. That is why it is necessary to protect plants in forests. If deforestation is stopped and instead tree plantation is stepped up, animals that depend on plants will get protection and thrive. Students, do you know what is the meaning of sanctuary? In a simple word to describe sanctuary, which means it is a safe place. It can be of animal, plant, or even human beings. Now students, let's see about the Radhanagari Wildlife Sanctuary. Radhanagari Wildlife Sanctuary and Natural World Heritage Site is located in the Kolhapur district, Maharashtra state in India. It lies at the southern end of the Sahyadri Hills in the Western Ghats. It is notable as the first declared wildlife sanctuary in Maharashtra. It is popularly known as the Bison Sanctuary. Okay, now let's study about bisons. Bisons can even called as wild ox. We know about bisons that they are large, even-toed, and they are approximately 1600 kgs with a height of 2.5 meters. These bisons are actually social creatures and they love to live in a group. That is why they are called as herd. The lifespan of a bison is 10 to 20 years, but some may live to be older. What would happen if the earth had no trees? Life could not exist on earth without trees because they produce most of the oxygen that humans and wildlife breathe. There would also be no rain without trees, since trees absorb water from the soil and release it through evapotranspiration. So, 80% of the land, animals and plants live in the forest, and without the trees, most of them will die. Trees also keep the ground wet and cool and help to drive the water cycle. With no trees, the land will heat up and dry out, and the dead wood will inevitably result in enormous wildfires. What does tree plantation mean? Tree plantation means planting more number of trees in a planned way. How can we protect trees? Planting more number of trees will also add to Earth's natural beauty. Trees fight water pollution and prevent soil erosion. They prevent pollutants from flowing into water sources. The only way we can defend global warming and environmental pollution is by saving and planting more number of trees. Now students, let's start with page number 93. Mayani Lake has formed due to a dam built on the Chand River in Satara district. Flamingos from the Siberian region in northern Asia migrate to this lake. Here they build nests and lay eggs. Once the baby birds grow big enough, they return with them to Siberia. In the recent past, as the water level in the dam had fallen, the flamingos had stopped coming. However, the lake has now been declared a sanctuary for birds. Now, students, let's understand what is the meaning of flamingo. We know flamingos are birds, but the greater flamingo is the most widespread and the largest species. It is mainly found in Africa, on the Indian subcontinent, in the Middle East, and in the southern Europe. If you see this great flamingo, its average height is 43 to 59 inches tall and its weight is 2 to 4 kgs. Most of these flamingos are pinkish white. Their wings are covered with red. The bill is pink with a restricted black tip and the legs are entirely pink. Now students, let's study about the biggest bird, that is Maldhok. The biggest Maldhok, that is the Great Indian Bustard Sanctuary in Asia, is at Nanans in Solapur district. These huge weighty birds are famous for their graceful gait. Now what is the meaning of graceful gait? It means graceful gestures or movements, or we can even say a dignified air or being superior, that is called as graceful gait. These birds live in an open grasslands. They feed on insects, thus giving protection to crops in the fields. They are the farmers' friends. As they are hunted for their meat and their eggs, unfortunately, their number is fast dwindling. Now, what is the meaning of dwindling? Dwindling means reducing. Maharashtra state has declared the Nananj area a sanctuary for the Great Indian Bustard. Deer are also found in these grasslands too. About 50 kilometers from Pune, on the Pune-Ahmednagar highway, the village of Morachi Chinsoli is famous for its peacock population. The old, well-looked after tamarind trees here have created a favorable environment for the birds. Peafowl have found sanctuary in this village. Students, I would like to give you the detailed information about Morachi Chinsoli. It is said that during the Peshwe dynasty, many tamarind trees were planted and these attracted peafowls. There are around 2,500 peafowls in this region. While peafowls can be seen roaming the fields throughout the day, they are best observed early in the morning or early in the evening. In this village, the peacock is not just protected but also revered. Revered means they have taken care, so much so that this one place where its numbers have steadily increased over years. Morachi Chinsoli showcases a true ideal Indian village with all the traditional culture. Today, one can find a lot of peafowls in this village. Morachi Chinsoli means a village of dancing peacocks. Now, let's study the last part of this lesson, that is Devrais. Devrais is a boon for all the living creatures. Indian cultures gives importance to the protection of forest. The Devrai is an example. People believe that a Devrai is really a jungle reserved for God. No tree or plant in a Devrai is ever cut. That is why all trees in a Devrai are safe even today. Maharashtra has many Devrais. In Madhya Pradesh, they are known as Shranvan. Devrai give shelter not only to the plants but also to the animals that live there. Hence, Devrais or Shranvans can be called the sanctuaries of ancient times. So students, let's first understand the meaning of Devrai. The Devrai word came from two local words, that is Dev means God and Rai means forest. So it means God's forest. That is why it is called as Devrai. Okay, my dear students, always remember, Nature provides enough for every man's need, but not for every man's greed. What we have learned from this lesson: there are interrelationships between all living and non living things in the environment. Point 2: different kinds of plants, animals, and microorganisms are found in different regions. Point number 3: the balance between the cycles of the various gases in the atmosphere, the water cycle, and food chains has been maintained for thousands of years. Pollution of water is a threat to aquatic plants and animals. We shall all have to make efforts to stop the degradation of the environmental balance caused by the human intervention. And last, Devrais, biodiversity parks, national parks, and sanctuaries are created for the conservation of plants and animals. I hope so, students, that all these 4 parts of this lesson, number 17, the environment and us, your doubts will be cleared. Thank you, everyone.